You got off at 11? It's 10:23 right now.
Really? Oh.
Are you sure?
Don't get on my eyelashes, bro.
Come on, we're gonna start.
I'm cold.
We're gonna start right here, alright?
Have you ever wondered what happens when suspects try to seduce cops? It's a tactic that's been used throughout history, and it's surprisingly common. But does it ever work? In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the most infamous cases of suspects trying to seduce their way out of trouble. We'll also talk to experts about the psychology behind this tactic, and why it's so rarely successful. There are a few different reasons why a suspect might try to seduce a cop. Some suspects may simply be trying to distract the officer or buy themselves time to escape. Others may be hoping to get the officer to let them go, or even to start a romantic relationship. But whatever the reason, it's important to remember that police officers are trained to resist these kinds of tactics. They're also aware of the fact that suspects may try to use their power or authority to intimidate them. Number 1. Skylar Fluss. In many troubling cases, many young women believe they can use their bodies as a means of escaping from the police. 18-year-old Skylar Fluss was pulled over by a police officer after she was found driving while intoxicated. She initially bragged about her encounter with the cop on a video she posted, stating how she fooled the officer by not being arrested. Check it out.
I got out of a DUI and got let off with a warning.
Young Skylar claimed that she got out of a DUI without any charge. In the public video made by Skylar, she said that the officer let her go with a warning, even though she blew a 3.8. Can you believe that? She even said that the officer asked for her phone number and asked to take her out to lunch. You and I know well and good that her confession means trouble for the officer. Was she telling the truth, or was it just drunken banter? Take a look. Apparently, Skylar just got dumped by her boyfriend, and that was the excuse she gave the officer. After the interrogation, the officer handed her a card to fill. I guess this looked like exchanging phone numbers with the officer in her drunken mind. Eventually, the officer let her go, and that was when Skylar went on to make the crazy video saying she was booked for a special date with an officer. Unfortunately for our drunken ice queen, days later, a video of Skylar's confession surfaced. Take a look.
I blew a 3.8 and he let me off with a f***ing warning and gave me his number and said we should meet for coffee or lunch. He was hot, so I'm getting lunch with him tomorrow.
After telling the truth, she was eventually pardoned, and the officer in question was also cleared off all accusations. But this was not the outcome for our next case. Number 2. The DUI stop. To some ladies, drinking and driving sounds synonymous, since they believe they can get away when getting caught by the police using what they have. You must have heard the popular saying, use what you have to get what you want. Ladies seduce cops after loads of alcohol, and some have gotten away freely with it, but it's not always that way. Here are some cases of a few ladies caught trying to seduce cops. Number 1. Nain. A 19-year-old who was drunk after coming from a nightclub claimed to be a stripper in a nightclub called Dancers. Nain was caught throwing out things from the window of the car, and she was pulled over for questioning. As she was being interrogated by the officer, he noticed her strange responses. Her voice was slurred, with glazed eyes.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, sorry. What's up?
You said you were coming from Dancer?
As the interrogation continued, she lied about not being drunk. Well, to confirm her claim of not being drunk, the officer asked her to step out of the car and perform some tests. After failing the police test, she tried to bail herself out by seducing the officer. Even though there were female cops around, the young lady was okay with the male officer searching her body. After having her day in court, she was eventually given a 9-month penalty to serve. Number 2. Collie Barton. Collie hit a pole while carrying a patient in her car. She confirmed that she had too much to drink that day.
Kelly?
Yes,
How are you doing?
good.
She was charged with a DUI and for putting a patient's life at risk. An ambulance arrived at the scene, but Collie brought out her seductive skills. She began to flirt with all the officers at the scene. What a clown. Number 3. The Domestic Disturbance Case, 2015. Oftentimes, the case of domestic disturbances get neglected, but not this time with Joseph Randle. Just days after the Super Bowl, the NFL is dealing with its first off-season issue.
Police were called last week to check on a domestic dispute involving Joseph Randle.
This comes after the league emerged from a season that was rocked by controversies, including allegations of domestic violence, child abuse, and in-game cheating. Kansas police said that they were looking into claims of domestic violence against Dallas Cowboys running back Joseph Randle. Early that morning, 23-year-old Randle received a ticket for marijuana possession at a hotel in Wichita, after officials arrived at the scene based on a report of domestic violence. According to Wichita police, due to false statements made to the officials at the time, the ticket was dismissed. The spokesman for the Wichita Police Department also said that investigations were still ongoing and that they were conducting re-interviews on individuals that were present that night.
The detectives will compile all the information, all the witness statements. They'll write an affidavit.
Further investigations were triggered as a result of Dahlia Jacobs' admission to KWCH-TV, a CBS station in Wichita, that she lied in her statement saying that the whole issue was a misunderstanding. Jacobs has a child with Randle. She later requested a protective order and gave a different account of what actually happened. Joseph Randle is known to be a domestic disturbance violator because in 17 months he had been arrested 6 times for related offenses. Now isn't that crazy? In the record, a female witness said that Randle pointed a gun at his girlfriend who was with his kid in the car.
Joseph Randle had been threatening his former girlfriend who had their child with them in a car.
Earlier in February, Randle was apprehended on the issue of drug possession. After that, the police were informed of his domestic violence case. The case of the drug charges was later discharged, while the investigation of his domestic violent acts continued by the police officers. Being an NFL player, he was suspended from his team as the investigation continued on. And there you have it, folks. These are times when suspects tried to seduce cops, dine and dash, and try and get away with domestic violence accusations. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments section below. Do you think this is a negative development, or do you feel like it's a smart way to get away from the cops trying to seduce them, or pretending to be unconscious? Before you go, remember to give this video a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new here for more videos just like this one. Until next time, thanks for watching.